Wow. Wow. Man, brace yourselves, people, as we dive into one of the darkest features I've ever reviewed on this show. Lord help us all.
The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Greetings, my fellow cinema freaks and motion picture maniacs alike. I'm Brandon, the BAMBI Man, and welcome to Golden Ticket Reviews, where if it's classic or crap, you see through it, I review it. You know, if there's anything I've learned as an animation fan, it's that most people just seem to have the mindset that all animation or cartoon-related things or otherwise are strictly just meant for little children. With films recently being released like The Secret Life of Pets, that Sheldon Cooper and Rihanna alien movie that I don't even know if anyone really cares about anymore, and The Spawn of Satan, it's really simple to understand why many people are used to saying that any animation is strictly for kids only. However, what most folks fail to realize is that there are in fact many titles in animation, especially back in the 80s and 90s, which would scar their little ones for life probably. Unless they're really twisted and have already gotten overexposure to dark elements in film.
Kids today, so desensitized by movies and television.
Of course, most animation lovers like me are familiar with more light-hearted darkness found in such motion pictures as the Don Bluth and Studio Ghibli works, but many are probably not too familiar with the more obscure adult-like animations that got a cult following like Watership Down, Plague Dogs, and Felidae. Animated features that manage to balance intense situations with not just outstanding animation, but also dark atmospheres, memorable characters, and deeper messages that even the brightest of minions would not be able to comprehend. And one of those films was the 1986 animated disaster film from Britain, When the Wind Blows. And believe me when I say it is something else indeed. Based on the 1982 graphic novel by Raymond Briggs, we get introduced to an elderly British couple, namely Jim and Hilda Bloggs, who live in the countryside of southeast England. They are of the mindset that the government seems to always know what they are doing. Spoiler, there is a war that is in the midst of happening. The Third World War, to be exact, between the Soviets and the US. Luckily, Jim gets him and his wife prepared by making and building a shelter that can help them survive in unforeseen war circumstances. However, both of them don't feel this fight combat will be done with nuclear weapons. Unfortunately for them, war begins to break out, and both Jim and Hilda have to do what they must in order to protect themselves while their house is under attack by a nuclear bomb. Yes, before we go in deeper to the seriousness of the plot, let's discuss the animation. The animation scene here is simply beautiful. It's like stepping into that painting A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, it's so gorgeous. It may interest you to know that this work was done by the same team behind the magnificent animated short The Snowman. Another Raymond Briggs story, actually. It is also a hybrid of hand-drawn animation combined with live-action models and even some stop-motion animation, all of which are brilliantly put together. I mean, it seems flawless. The only real animated sections you see are of our main characters Jim and Hilda, as well as the items they are handling. To be honest, I feel like Jim Jenkins was possibly inspired by this type of animation. All the live-action components being combined with the animation and stop-motion are magnificently integrated, much like that of Roger Rabbit. The live-action footage also feels to be dramatically appropriate as well. The camera work is also well done too. The upper shot and tracking shots moving are very nicely done, and it feels as though you are actually watching a live-action feature. Now on to the subject that is as equally important to our beautiful animation, our writing and our voice acting. Both the script and the actors taking part in that script are wonderfully handled as well. The voice work here is wonderful, and both of our two main actors, namely Peggy Ashcroft and John Mills, do a great job in giving this their utter all in this film to make their characters of Hilda and James remarkably relatable. The couple in this are really engaging, and the conversations they get into feel so human-like even though they're animated. They really make you believe they are married for 30 to 40 years. On a side note, I noticed that James has the same inventor prowess that Wallace also had, particularly when building that bomb shelter. Which, yeah, we'll get to that. Seeing the couple discuss what they must do in these troubled times they live in after the bomb attack is utterly and beautifully dramatic to watch, and also quite scary as the film progresses as you slowly start to realize they have a chance of not making it to the next minute. The build-up is also quite brilliant, really taking its time to helping us get into our main characters' lives before the incredibly heavy stuff begins. Hearing them talk about the war and what they need to do is fascinating and haunting to witness, as the horror of the missile threat commences. And when it does, oh, hell breaks loose. Colors go to dangerously muted and darkly sepia tone, and the blast of the house is simply one of the most frightening and intense moments I've seen in any feature, animated or otherwise. Okay, now let's get to the elephant of the room, the darkness of this tale. The deterioration of our mains after the missile goes off and blasts their home is the real driving factor in this movie. It's tragedy of the honest and brilliantly handled kind. They really try hard to keep their spirits up despite this, and bless their heart for that. But yeah, it's really depressing, so keep that in mind if you decide to watch this sometime. Which, yes, I still recommend even with this gloomy cloud hanging over it. Granted, it's not a flick for you if you're easily prone to depression or such. However, it's still a masterpiece with brilliantly blatant writing, and honest writing at that, likable leads, great voice acting, and a wonderfully handled combo of animation, live action, and some stop motion as well. Also, the title song by David Bowie is beautiful as well. In fact, the entire musical score by Roger Waters is magnificent as well. If you can handle some sadness, you shouldn't miss out on this one. It is gorgeously haunting. You know, it's movies like this that make me realize maybe Hollywood can learn from this movie and try to make dramatic features based on real tragic events that actually work like this one. Yeah, screw Hollywood. Until next time, I'm Brandon, the BAMBI Man, saying take care of yourselves, guys. Seriously. And I'll see you next time at the movies.
Come gather round people wherever you roam, admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you sink like a stone, for the times they are changing. Come writers and critics, prophesize with your...
Dear God, I can't review all because of my stupid hat. No, I'm just kidding. Hey guys, Brandon here. Thank you so much for watching this video. This movie was actually requested to be reviewed by a viewer of mine named Nico. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not that good with pronunciations, but anyway, thank you, man, for requesting this review for When the Wind Blows. This was by far, aside from the couple reviews I've made on Feliday, this is like easily one of the darkest things I've ever watched, you know, for this show in particular. But you know what? Hey, you introduced me to a piece of animation that I never would have known about had it not been for your requests, I guess. So thanks for that. I actually really enjoyed the animation team behind this. I enjoy their work tremendously, and I really recommend, for those who haven't seen the short that I mentioned in this video, the snowman. Definitely, like, that needs to be on your on your holiday watch list, because that is just so beautifully done, so wonderful. Also, if you want to see more of my footage uncut and whatnot, any videos I've gotten that may have gotten copyright claims that caused me to take music out, like, you can see my all my full uncut reviews on my Vimeo page or my Daily Motion page. Also, please remember that you can catch me on my Twitter page at HuddleHippos1449, so you can keep updated with all of my goings on and whatnot. You know, I don't know. I think that's about it. Yeah, in any case, thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you all in the next video I make. Take care, guys. Peace.
I hope those doors aren't marking the wallpaper, Jane.